Hi guys, my name is Sleiman. I run a small agency called Tanios. We're based in Montreal. I'm honored to be able today to come to ArabNet and talk about SEO for developers. I know it's a taboo topic around developers. I'm pretty sure most of you don't like SEO. At least all the developers I've worked with hated SEO and never wanted to join the efforts of the marketing team in order to improve SEO. I don't know what's your opinion on this. How many of you enjoy doing SEO? None? Okay, one. That's good. But SEO today is very important. I don't know if you read the description of the topic. If you're not SEO'd or optimized for the search engines, well, your website is going to stay in the dark and no one will find it. And even though you have great code and great, amazing features on the website, most probably you won't be seen. So what I decided to do today is talk to you about tools we developed for SEO and not SEO itself as in content. Because the base of SEO, of course, it's content, but content is kind of boring for developers, so that's not what we want to discuss today. So I'm going to talk to you about a few things. So WordPress, Twitter API, and Google Docs for developers. What I wanted to do today is show you a bunch of tools we built and maybe get you interested in developing more tools for SEO in order to help teams or, I don't know, like your team, your company, your agency, or other companies come up faster on Google and in better positions for different keywords. All of you are familiar with SEO? Yes, search engine optimization? Okay. So I'll start with, I'll sit down because I have a few things to show you. Okay, so first of all, I'll start with WordPress. Everybody knows WordPress. WordPress is a CMS that allows you to manage content. Okay, the way WordPress works is that it's going to load a database. So you have a database built for WordPress. So they have something called WP load. So if we go into the files, okay, that's the WP, the WordPress installation. Now you see the WP load. I'll give you an idea of why we built this. I'll show you first the website. Those who have computers, I want to do a test first to see what comes up as SEO. If you can go in Google and type Barrett Marketing. Can you tell me what's the first result that you're going to see?
The domain name.
That's the .com, right? Okay, if you scroll down a little bit, what do you see? This is my search results. If you have it in front of you, if you go under the places, what's the first domain name you're going to find? Are you on Google right now? I don't know who answered the question. Okay, well, if you type Barrett Marketing, you're going to find barrettmarketing.com. And barrettmarketing.com is a website that we own at Tanios. So it's very basic. It's just content that we built. All the content here is keyword oriented. So you're going to find marketing tools, and then it's a Tanios website. If you click here, you're going to find it. This Barrett Marketing website is part of a bunch of websites. I'll show you, say, barrettbmw.com, which is also a website built for content, so keyword-oriented text. Nothing very interesting. You can't buy a car for real. But at the end, you have a footer with a link back to tanios.com with Barrett SEO marketing. Now, if you go, there's a list here. It's called links. Those are a bunch of domain names, just examples. So Barrett Marketing, here you can see it. Then you have Barrett Audi, BlackBerry, Architect, Barrett Surgery. You even have pornbarrett.com if you're interested. All these domain names are hosted by one single WordPress installation that loads the database according to the URL it's being requested from. So if we go into the file, we edit the file, have it open here. That's how the load works. That's the code for load. So what it does, basically, it's going to find a config file. So WP config. So the loader will load a config file, and we request using that. Or is it here? So request the URL .php. So what we did a small hack for this, and now we have all the config files. If you look at them with the different URLs of the domain names we own. So that's a small hack, and what it does right now. Okay, so I'll show you the why we did this. So now if you go to any of these domain names, Barrett Coffee, it's going to load the same or the same WordPress installation, but with the unique content of that keyword that we requested, based on the database that we have input and the information for. So what happens here, if I log in into the WordPress installation, okay. So that's my CMS. I can log in. If I go in the editor, which can allow me to edit the theme, I'm going to go to footer. So here we see the footer for Beirut Surgery's Beirut SEO Marketing. It's the same for all the websites because they all load the same footer, which is here. Okay, if you can see it, I can add at ArabNet. Boom, I update the file. So if I come here, this file has been updated, so you can see it here. But what's interesting about it is that if you go on any other, let's go Beach Beirut, for example, that same footer is installed. So that's nothing, so yeah, you got the idea. It's nothing very impressive, but the idea now here is to allow an SEO team to manage one single installation, optimize that website with all the micro formats, all the geotags they want on that website, and to be able to extend it to any database they want, and to manage the content from the database, but to be able to manage the theme from one single installation. This is SEO in the sense that, see right now you see all the links that I showed you, those are all real estate or properties that are installed on the web. They're somewhere in Google and can be found with a specific keyword search depending on the search. But the idea at the end of the day is that they all point back to tanios.com, which is our website, and that's what we want to optimize. This can be done for any industry. If you're in a hotel business or anything, what we recommend is maybe you can buy a bunch of domain names that are keyword oriented, so they're not branded, so they can be hotel, amazing experience hotel, something like that. You put some content and you manage them using one single WordPress installation. You have 10, 15, 20 database with contents, so they're all entry points to the main website that you want to promote. So from these installations, you should have a call to action. Book a hotel now, for example. It would go back to that main website that you want to promote. As a developer, you can propose that or offer that to your client to build that one WordPress installation using that small hack and able to manage 10 to 15 or 20 as much as you want different domain names. So that's the first step. That's the first thing I wanted to talk to you about. It's the WordPress hack in order to load many WordPress. Now, from this idea came the idea of the Twitter API use that we started thinking about, and we eventually built. So let me just go back to this. No, that's a fail. So I talked to you about the WordPress one install. Now I want to talk to you about the Twitter API build social monster. I call this social monster because it's something that can. Okay, you all know Twitter. Are you familiar with Twitter? Have you used Twitter? Probably. Twitter is a very interesting tool. It had, well, in the Middle East, it had done a lot of good things to the people. North America use it more for to market and talk about random things. Here, I feel it's more political tool. Over there, it's more like an entertainment tool. It can become both. But at the end of the day, Twitter, what it does, it can create trends, and people can follow trends and then follow topics, hashtags, and stuff. So the idea was to build a social monster that would be able to generate a trend and artificially create a trending topic. That's what we decided to do, and that was the project, which was eventually successful. So we were able to artificially recreate a trend based on the tool that we built. Let me show you how we did it. Okay, so I'll first start by showing a small plugin we created for WordPress. Where is it? So if I go back here, okay. So there's a small plugin that I call Twitter to WordPress that was built by one of my developers. You won't find it online, but I'll show you how to do it. It's not very complicated. So once you activate the Twitter to WordPress engine, okay, I'll show you here. So basically what I decided to do is to create a tool where I could put, see now we're in Beirut coffee. So we have that keyword that's going to be coffee. So what the Twitter to WordPress does, it's going to do a Twitter search, go into Twitter, do a Twitter search using the keyword coffee. Now we can do like a quick one here. Coffee. See, all these posts have the word coffee in them. It's a keyword. So what's going to happen if the tool is activated? So it's going to take all the coffee posts and post them as WordPress posts. So they're going to be indexed in Google. They're going to be in your sitemap. The tweet will be the title, and the body will be the title as well. So I'll show you just an example. And then you can have like timers, update interval, tweet to check. So you could put one up to like 1,000. I'll show you the dashboard to show you how many tweets they have in this one. So those are all like tweets that eventually, like coffee machine broken, so carrot cake with tea, it is done. That's a random tweet. Someone tweeted that at some point in their life. Our engine took it and brought it as a tweet. So what it did is that it created a content with the keyword coffee related to the URL we're asking for. This tweet is really not relevant. Like the guy just is going to eat carrot cake instead of coffee. But there's a keyword, and that's all we needed for that point. I'll show you the results of that test. For this one, we have 11,000 posts, and we let it run for 3 days only, because after that it was very consuming for in resources for the servers. So we stopped the engine, but we created 11,000 posts in about 3 days, and then we stopped it. No, this will not appear on our Twitter. This will appear, I'll show you where. Probably the question is, you don't see the point of doing this. What it does, see those, because we hide the Twitter links on the front page, so they all, like the front page always looks nice. Well, I mean, it's not really nice at all, but it doesn't look like spam. Now, if it loads, you'll see there's a category called Twitter. It's not loading. Okay. Here. Just have to go back and just remove the plugin, because if it's running, it's going to slow down. Server deactivate. Okay. So I was here. Okay. That's where it's going to appear. So there's a category called Twitter. We hide them all in there, but they appear in our sitemap, and they're indexed within Google, and Google can find them, and maybe I'll show you a more like precise example where the use of this plugin can generate good visits. In this case, all we wanted was to populate the blog. We had only 5 posts at the beginning. Now we have 11,000, so it gives it more weight in the search engines. But at the end of the day, like, that's only where it's shown, but we don't need that, right? And now in that case, we had only like one keyword called coffee, and coffee is very like general and doesn't mean anything at the end of the day, because you see like we have random tweets that was generated from this. But that's the only place where it appears. Your question is very good. It's going to lead to my next point, but I'll leave it for later. Like from the WordPress post, what can we do from the WordPress post? Either send it back to Twitter or to RSS, and then eventually we can do something else. And that's what we did with the tool. But that's just to populate the content of the website. So I'll show you results. Okay. So there was this domain name called slam.co, which Slam is my nickname. So I decided to buy it. Let's say it was on November 24th. I bought the domain name. I installed WordPress. I installed my plugin. And I installed everything on November 25th. It was ready. And I launched my tool. Okay. Slam.co was a domain that didn't exist at all. It had no history. It was recently purchased. It had nothing to do with Google. Google didn't know about it. And the first day Google knew about it was the 25th, where I indexed it for the first time. Okay, let's look at the visits. After 7 days, this peaks up to 35 visits. If you look at the results here, I don't know if we can move in closer. Out of 681 visits in about, let's look what, 1 month, 2 months period, okay? We got 681 visits, and almost 600 of them were from Google organic search. So this is Google organic. It's not even AdWords. It's Google deciding that my posts were relevant to a keyword search and sent people our site. So for a domain name that didn't exist the day before, it's very impressive to see after 2 months that almost 90% of its visits came from Google organic. This is a very high rate of Google organic posts, and I'll show you why this happened. The keyword I put on slam.co was, I'll show you content, landing pages. Let me see, sorry about Search organic. Okay. So those are keywords that people were looking for. Zaytuna Bay, Beirut. Yeah, the keyword that we put in the engine was Beirut. So all the posts that were posted were from for the Beirut market. So you got Beirut. Okay. Here we see Chris Brown concert in Beirut. That's the second peak here. That was when Chris Brown canceled his concert in Beirut around December 14th. Chris Brown decided to cancel his concert. So people were tweeting about it. Chris Brown just canceled concert in Beirut. Beirut concert canceled by Chris Brown. And people, what they would do as well is go on Google and look for Chris Brown canceled Beirut show. So the idea behind this was to create content that was live. And the power of Twitter and power of Facebook is that they have live content that people can refresh and like instantly. If something happens right now in this room, someone's going to tweet about it and it's going to be live. Google doesn't have that speed because they have to index first. And then, so what they tried to do with their algorithm, I guess, was to improve it by looking at Twitter or looking at live searches or searches that were going on right now. And that's what happened with our websites. I realized that most of the keywords most of the pages that were hit were events that were happening right now and not in the past. So they were like searches for live search. They were looking for live search. Twitter has that tool, so we would take that live search from Twitter, put it into WordPress, and WordPress is very well indexed into Google. So Google would find these links relevant to the live searches that were happening on Google, and they would provide us with like visitors. They would send visitors our way. Visitors were most probably disappointed when they found just a like random tweet. For us, that wasn't the point. It was just a test. If you look at it that way, after 7 days to get 35 visits from organic search, that's a big that's something like it's a big statement to show that it's live search. If we can do all these specific keyword search for live events on the same day, that would be that could generate a lot of traffic to your website. If you're a hotel, if you're a club, if you're something that's in the entertainment business, it could be very easy to generate traffic that way. So eventually what we did, so that's a WordPress to Twitter tool. I'll show you just a small. So you're inside Twitter, you do a keyword search. So first of all, we take that keyword search and we turn it into a WordPress, right? So the WordPress becomes, we can make it as an RSS. Let me just reopen oops. It's not there anymore. Okay, I'll just show you my image. Okay, that's something I want to show you. So I'll show you just the image of our most monster tool, social monster tool. And I'll show you what we did in order to make it happen, to create a trending topic. So you have the Twitter engine that has like live content generated by random people or people on the Twitter sphere. So recherche par mots-clés pour ce résultat. So we do a keyword search and we post into WordPress, as I explained. That's the Twitter to WordPress engine that we built. From WordPress, what it does, it goes to an RSS feed. So the RSS feed, what we do with that, so we created something called the Anona tweet. That is right here. So Anona tweet right now, what it does, I can tweet, hey guys, and just tweet it. It's going to go somewhere on Twitter from a random account that we have a database of. So we built a database of 16,000 Twitter accounts that are all fake. So they're all manually created with like a profile and everything. But they're all fake people. So if you look at it, we have a database structure with the username, an email, a password, and then a location. So then we can really locate the tweet when we want to tweet. I'll show you why in a few minutes. So you have an email, and then you have a password, and then you have a name, right? So using a browser, as if letting the computer use the browser, like it would log in with the password and the username, and then would tweet, and then would log out. And that's what happens in that tool, with this one. So like if you go and do a Twitter search, some of the accounts were blocked, but it could work. Hey guys, it's not there yet. It takes a few minutes sometimes. But you can anonymously tweet from this. And from that, we did an RSS mass tweet, which is the same tool, but we use a feed. We use, let's say, we can use 10 accounts, new only or new and old. You can add a hashtag or @ so you can mention yourself or mention someone else, and then you submit. and automatically it's going to take 10 accounts or 1,000 accounts, as many as you want, up to 16,000. That's what we have right now. Well, all these accounts will take the post and tweet it as, I'll show you an example. Okay, it's not there anymore, but so what it does, it's going to take the title and put the link at the end and mention the hashtag or the mention that you added to the tweet. So you can have 1,000 backlinks from Twitter based on that in a few minutes, just as a matter of the time it takes to log in, log out from that option. So this is mass RSS. You can also mass tweet. So here for each line, you have it. Each line is going to be a tweet, and that's where you have the location. So if you have an event based on, I don't know, if you have an event in Cleveland, you can have tweets related to the Cleveland event, and then you can start tweeting about the event. You need one single tweet every time, and then you can submit it. Let's say 100 tweets that you're going to write, and they're going to be submitted every 10 seconds. That way you can create a trending topic using that tool. Depending on your location, it could have a local trending. If you want a worldwide trending, that's very complicated because Twitter checks what's going on. So that was the idea behind that RSS would be taken. We would input it in that RSS automatic feeder, and it would be shot back to Twitter, right? So that RSS, we would know what the title was and what the URL was, and this we would know what was going back to Twitter. Because they're all anonymous, but we would track using the keyword and the URL. It would go back to Twitter, and then we would have a responder. I don't know what I call it a responder, but it's just the French word répondeur. And the répondeur, that's an idea of what the répondeur is. So here, you add an account. Let me just log in. Okay. What the répondeur does, it creates, you pre-program tweets in it. Well, you probably got that, everybody here got that, it's a spam message from someone. You tweeted something and a second later you got a spam message, right? Hey, you check out free iPad 3, stuff like that. It's basically the same concept. So if I create a tweet, I add a new one. I can choose an account that was pre-registered using the API, so you need an API key. So let's say I use my own, Sleiman-Tanios. Everyone says that for every ArabNet me hashtag, hey guys, welcome to ArabNet. I'm not going to post it because I don't want to spam people. But basically, no delay means that if you tweet ArabNet twice the same day, it's going to just tweet you twice. If you put a delay, it's going to wait 2 weeks before it's going to tweet the same person. So from there, it creates, so then we have the automatic feeder for this, for the keyword, based on the RSS feed. So the RSS is going to post back to Twitter, and knowing what we posted, we're going to take that keyword and prepare a message for that, so it's going to respond. So it's going to automatically create a conversation between the automatically generated tweet that became in WordPress, that went to RSS. From the RSS, went back to the responder, and the responder is going to send the message back. So it creates a conversation between 16,000 people. I'll show you why. In this one, we added a spinner, which is a code that looks like this. Hey, hello, sup, for example. Okay, are you familiar with that spinning function? So what it does, so here instead of the hey, oops. Okay, right now we just created 3 different messages. So if we have 3 people to tweet, it's going to say, hey guys, welcome, or hello guys, welcome, and then sup guys, welcome. So in order to reduce the spam factor, and so Twitter has, for every word we can do the same thing. So every word can be spinned, number and as long as you can find a word for it as a synonym, you can be able to spin it every time. So you spin it that way, and that way you can get, let's say, 100 different messages that are going to be tweeted. If you're about to tweet 1,000 people, you want to make sure it's not the same message that's going to be sent. Otherwise, Twitter will block you in a matter of minutes. That way, you have a different message for every person, up to the limit you can create the spinning. So I could do the same thing with this. Girls, and with this. So now I have 6 different messages. So it's going to be, hey guys, welcome. Hey girls, welcome. Hello guys, welcome. Hello girls. You see what I mean? So that's the spinning. That's going to reduce the spamming factor. So if I go, I'm sorry?
How are you going to determine the tag is legal?
Well, okay, in that case, I put girls and guys, but we can't, for right now, do that.
So you are generating many messages here?
I'm sorry?
So you are generating many messages or one message?
This would generate 6 different messages. If I need to tweet one person, it would send only one tweet. It would take the first, hey, guys, welcome, okay? If I need to tweet 10 people, it's going to do the 6 messages and it's going to go back to the first one. So you have 6 different messages saying about the same thing. But your point is very good, so we're not targeting, so now I shouldn't be using girls and guys. I should be like, hey, people. Like that way, like the person's going to receive it, it's going to be more generic. But then you spin the messages in order to reduce the spam factor. Like from the Twitter perspective, they won't see your message as spam because it's it's different. It varies. But you should be doing this for every word. That way you have like less and less same messages, depending on the amount of people you want to tweet. No, this is not WordPress. This is a PHP code that we did. But the spinning feature can be done like using PHP. It's not specific to any API. This is just like a regular code. So the message is generated before it's sent. It's stored, and then we use the stored messages, and then they send them. And that's for spinning. But you can use spinning in every situation. It's not only like in that case. So yeah, so that's what's happening. So it goes to the responder. Responder will have all these saved spinned messages, and knowing, so we're going to have a function that responder search equals RSS feed, and message will be sent, and so they're going to be talking to each other. Eventually what's going to happen is that the messages responded will go back to WordPress, and WordPress will send it back to RSS, and they're going to be talking to them like that. And if you have a good writer, you can ask her or him to write you a bunch of like scenarios and text, so that way you can have like a real conversation going online. Eventually it's going to be trending. Eventually people can pick it up and like continue the conversation with real people at this point. Because that's what you want. You want real people talking, not only your fake bots having a conversation. That's an RSS tool. I see it as an SEO tool because getting backlinks from Twitter, Google knows how many backlinks you have in Twitter, and today the SEO world. So before you would have to build a nice website, have a lot of meta keywords, meta tags, everything. But today what it has become is if your website is being shared in a social network and it gets backlinks from social networks, it means people are looking for it, and it means that it has something on it that people are looking for. So if you used to have a very great website and get a lot of organic visits from Google, but you see this reducing, is because you're not present enough in social networks, and you have to be there either by like generating content, having community manager, like generating activity with people, interacting with people, or you have to create your own backlinks inside Twitter. This is just a hack that you can build, but it's not a real strategy. Just show you this since you're developers, you could be interested in codes. But the more social network links you have back to your website or to your blog posts, the better your organic search is going to be, and the more links you'll get from Google eventually. And I talk about Google as the search engine, but you have a lot of search engines that are like organic, or even like if you're going to Foursquare, you want to have a Foursquare good result in search engines. If you're a restaurant, if you're a cinema, if you're anything like that, you want to improve your search engine results in Foursquare search engine. There's a lot of discussion about mobile right now, and I know in the ArabNet there's a lot. That was all for this, but there's a lot of mobile conversation. I wanted to show you something. Okay, so I showed you this. Okay, there's something very important that as a developer you should know when you code a website, depending on what the code is. Since people are using mobile, what the mobile is giving us today, yeah, it's like a smaller screen, you have to fit the screen, user interface has to be different. But for search engine results, the mobile, what the added value of a mobile phone is the geolocalization of the phone that a lot of websites can use, and that Google and search engines will use in order to like push your website. So there's a geotag here. I'm posting it to a post I did about what I'm talking about. So maybe you can. So it's basically just the meta tag and the geo position As a developer, if you build like a front-end website that you want search engine to find on mobile, when people Google or search within the mobile, you should add those. I took it from another website, but basically it's just the meta tags for the geolocalization, so that the search engine knows where this website is located at. And if you're located close and you're looking for a restaurant, well, this will pop, for example. Same thing for Foursquare, but Foursquare is based on the people who went on it, so it's not very developer end. But you should you as a developer have used the Foursquare API in order to like add functionalities on the website in order for people to interact with Foursquare. So what happens, what they do with Foursquare is they go, let's say, in a neighborhood and they click explore, and the first result that's going to come is the result that most people checked in at, or most like tips were left at, or where the most people interacted with that restaurant or that like ice cream or sandwich place. So that's the first one that's going to pop. And if that person is your client, you want to make sure more people interact with that Foursquare function. So when people look for it in that search engine, it's going to come up the first. And also keep in mind that people, when they Foursquare, it sends to Twitter, and then you get a backlink from Twitter. So you want to make sure that everybody has, like your clients, I mean, that's in the client perspective, not a developer perspective. You want to make sure they're improved in those search engines. There's a last feature I want to talk to you about. It's the Google Docs import XML function. I don't know if you're familiar with it. So most of the time your clients are going to ask you to analyze a website, a competitor website. So I took the ArabNet website. So what I wanted to do here, so you have a bunch of names and photos and descriptions, right? So everybody here, like that's a speaker, is on that list. Okay? So what I wanted to do before I came is to put them all in a list and to be able to contact these people, knowing who they are, and like maybe send them an email, put like if I meet them, maybe have their description on hand and not within the website. And this can be useful for anything. If you're like on a hotel website and you want all the categories, all the cities, if you want to look for a price, I'll show you a different use of that tool. But Google Docs has a very unique. I'm going to open a new one so I can show you. So what I did here is URL. So here you're going to input the URL that you want to take the stuff from. So from that URL, I want to have the info about the speakers, right? So if you go in the inspect element feature, okay, so you know that the name of the speaker is put into a class that's called name, and that class is in a div that's details. And that details is in a class called speaker. So the name is in details, that's in speaker, right? So I'll just copy paste it so I don't have to type it. So here with the import XML functionality. So you have import XML from A2, which is the first one. So you go into div class equals speaker, and then within that div you go into class details. Okay. Oops. Return. I'm just going to go back out. So basically what it did, so here you have, oops, where is it? Whoa. Okay, this one's easier to manipulate. Okay. Yeah. So you have, so that was the first one, that's his title, and then you have his description. It's all divided. Okay, it's automatically done for you because Google can read the XML. And if you tell them go read that specific like div and that specific other div, it's going to pull out all the information from there. Eventually you'll have a list of people or categories or destinations, new keywords that are like available. If you see your competitor starting to do something, you can pull out all their information and like do a search for that. It's easier than go from the website or to hire someone to retype all that database. It's all on the website, right? So that's a very specific use for the ArabNet. So, but you see the code is very easily, like basically what it is, it's just you type import XML, and then you have two values you have to input, where to take the URL from, and then where to read it, like where to read the code. If I didn't put any, let's say I remove everything from, I can remove everything there, and just put at href. It's going to pull a list of links. It's not available. So what it did here, I asked the XML to tell me everything that's a link on that page. So it pulled a bunch of links on that page. That's very useful also if you go from your home page. You can do it to your own website and look at all the links that are on your home page and where are they going, right? So if you see you only have 2 or 3 links on your home page, well, that's not good enough because that's where the search engine robots read it from. So they start from the home page and they see where the navigation can go through, right? So if you see that you don't have enough links, well, you can add them, or you can see the list of links you have. Let's say you're changing your interface. You're going from one website to another, like front-end design. Well, you know all these links should find themselves on that new homepage to not lose their SEO or their rank based on what you used to have. So now it pulled all the links. So I have all the Twitter links that were there. I have all the random links or like within the navigation. Also, a really cool feature, if you, let's say, want to compare the price of an item you want to buy, or if you're a reseller of any kind, you can do the same import XML and go into like, instead of going, here we had like speaker and details, we could have like price. Usually websites are like organized that way. Go in div item, div price, and that price is going to be pulled. Then you can have the list of all the prices of, let's say, eBay, I don't know, like all the other stores that you can have, the online stores that you have. And you can compare the prices like this and on a daily basis. So you can have a script that runs every day and pulls up the price of that item, and then you can have a chart to see, like, is it going up, is it going down? If this one's selling it more than this one, you can really compare them using the import XML. In terms of SEO, it's more useful in order like to grab names, grab info, grab data from a website in order to reuse it in your other website. So this wraps up my presentation about like tools that you can use as a developer to get interested in SEO. There's a lot of tools and APIs that are available out there in order like to communicate and understand better like what's being looked for, what are the prices if you have a client, if you want to know like the keywords that are being looked for, and then see what comes up. There's also like XML, the import XML can also go that far. You can do Google searches and see like Twitter, like friends, like the relationships people have between each other, stuff like that. But there's a lot of tools that you can build. I showed you the social monster as one example, but if you have ideas as developers to use how to use the APIs to bring like more tools in order to improve SEO, because the SEO is the way like to come up on search engine. That's the only way for your website to be seen, unless it goes viral another way, or you have a lot of marketing campaign or like paid advertisement to pull that website visits to go up. Basically, that's it. Thanks for listening. Do you have questions?
Did you mention a reason why you were doing this Twitter API inside WordPress?
I'm sorry?
Did you mention a reason why did you run Twitter API from a WordPress page?
Why? The decision, like why we chose that?
Yeah.
Personally, I like WordPress better. The only reason is I find it's a better SEO tool. They build a lot of plugins to improve the SEO of every page. You can go really in depth and change every keyword, every title, every page title very easily. I find very easy when you have a team. They can easily work on WordPress and manage your SEO. You tell them just go there, you show them how to do it. Whereas Joomla or Drupal, I found it more difficult for them to understand. The SEO interface for WordPress is better, and I find that it goes SEO better. Like it goes into the index much easier. Like the sitemap is well located. It can be easily updated. I find it had more. Like it's really easy to install. It's really easy to hack. It's really easy to to work with. So it was a no-brainer when I thought about it.
One more question.
Yeah.
Did you find a solution like how to integrate Bing command with the XML parser?
The Bing?
For example, like some pages you need to like enter some information in order to get the web page. For example, this eBay, like if you want to inquiry several items or so, you need to like do some Bing in order to retrieve back the information. It's not like straight in one page.
Yeah.
So is there a way like where we can integrate
to run the script?
Yep.
Yeah, well, that's okay. I showed you Google Docs, and why Google Docs is really interesting. is that you have a script editor. If you go into the script editor and you know some JavaScript, you're going to be able to have your code there. So you can say, this import XML, store it there, and go to the next one, and then every day do it like you run a timer using JavaScript. It's going to run a timer. So does this answer your question? Yeah. Because I heard Bing in your question, but I don't know what.
For Bing, like you need to generate the page, like the query.
Oh yeah, exactly. Well.
Yeah.
Okay, exactly. So to make that script run, that's why Google Docs is interesting. Is that it's online, so your computer doesn't have to be. If you're using through Excel, your computer has to be turned on. Whereas this one, you don't even have to be on your computer. Automatically, the timer will run, and you have the script. You saw where and you can run it from there. But you saw where it's here in Tools, Script Editor or Script Manager, and then you can add scripts in order to run that function I was talking about. Thanks for the question. Yep, you have a question?
I came in a little late, so I'm not sure if you actually mentioned the plugins you use for SEO optimization for WordPress in particular. Okay. Did you mention those?
Yeah, I didn't mention it. For WordPress, there's one. I'll show you that's a site we did. That's a coffee website we did in Montreal. So basically, it's just coffee. I'm just doing a little bit of advertising here. It's the ultimate SEO tool. I'll show you how it works quickly. If I have it installed here. Okay, it's the same one here. Okay. So basically, you can choose modules that you want to have or not. And what happens here is title tag rewriter. Okay. So the title tag rewriter is going to show you the list of all your posts that you have. In that case, I have way too many. So I'm not going to rewrite those are like spam from Twitter, right? But I could be able to rewrite every title the way I want it and go very specific to each page. I can look at the post, write a specific title for it. That's going to be different from the front end title, right? And at the end, you can submit it, and the changes saved.
I'm sorry. What did you mean it's going to be different from the front end title?
Okay, I'll show you. Because here, let's say my post, because the way WordPress works, see here, le couteau knife, that's the front end title, right? That's what people are going to see. When I mouse over that, this is the same title as the post title, right? Okay, but if I want to change just the SEO title, which is this one, if I mouse over here, okay, see this title? This is the title that Google has, which is not the same as the one that WordPress is going to promote. WordPress already does it, like it's going to mix the blog title name and the blog post. But if that's not what you want, or you want to like bring them back like to the opposite, there's also this function. I don't know where I was. Here you can see. Title tag. This page. So you can use shortcodes. So blog homepage title, blog, like you can have either. So I recommend you put post before blog, but when you do it, like the default feature is blog then post. If you switch them, it's better. So I'll show you an example. Let's say you go to Best Coffee Montreal. Okay. So what you find here. See, this is the homepage, but this one is the post, right? So coffee is the first keyword that's going to pop. And that's very important for Google. If it was just adwords, which is the brand name, it's not relevant. This one has less impact because it's further, but it has all the keywords, so that's why it's on top. This is my custom search, so it's not very relevant. If you go back here, that's where the keyword is. Like the keyword is inside the title, right? So that's what Google is going to pop first. I was talking to a person earlier today, and they have like a fashion blog, and we realized that the post they had it was always the same title. That's also a mistake. If you always have the same title for every page, see it's not like very precise or relevant to that page, so Google gives it less weight. If you have a different title, it means it has like you connected the custom content, and Google can know exactly where to send the people. Is it a necklace? Is it a bracelet? Is it a hat? So boom, I can send them specifically to those pages. And it has to be in the title.
Thank you. But the name of the plugin?
It's SEO Ultimate.
SEO.
I'll show you because I'm not sure exactly what's the name, but I'll go back to my plugins and I'll tell you. It's SEO Ultimate. Do you want me to send you the link?
Thank you.
What's your email?
You can tweet the link if you want.
Yeah, I'll tweet. Okay, I'll tweet with...
Any more questions?
SEO Ultimate.
Hi, I'm sorry to have missed your talk. You've been talking for quite a while right now. I'm trying to locate the plugin as well. I tried searching for it. It's called Tile Rewriter. Is that right?
No, that's one of the functionalities that they give you. But the SEO is called SEO Ultimate. The plugin is called SEO Ultimate.
SEO Ultimate.
Yeah, I'm tweeting it right now. Just I want to make sure it's the right one. Which page? Yep. Here. I tweeted the link with the ArabNetMe hashtag, so you can find it.
Okay. And again, probably this is something that you've mentioned. Just if you want to wrap up or you're about to finish, is there like you can tell general advice in terms of plugins to use and trends to go by?
For WordPress specifically?
WordPress.
Okay. WordPress, I'll show you. I'll go with the list and I'll show you what's good. So when we were building all these Beirut websites, all those properties I call them, I had like a specific set of plugins I wanted to start with. Say hi for me. I'm just kidding. So we have, something that's very important is the sitemap, Google XML sitemaps. I find it very important to have it there. The reason why is that every time you go, you're going to update something, it's going to update the sitemap. I'll show you the page right now. So here, your sitemap was built on February 5th. That's the last time something was posted. And I can manually rebuild the sitemap. And every time it builds a sitemap, it's going to post it to the webmaster tool from Google. Right? So that's a very important one. It's called Google XML sitemaps. Another one that's really useful is the ultimate one. Also, there's one that I really enjoy. It's the Open Graph Facebook. What it does is that it's going to automatically go and set the Open Graph settings. And the Open Graph settings for Facebook are the same that are used by Google Plus when you do when you post it to Google Plus. So it's very important. Also, what I can recommend to you, well, the Google Analytics. I don't know if you installed Google Analytics, but what's important with this WordPress tool is that it uses the API to connect your account to authenticate to your account. So that way, if you update something in your account, it's going to update it into the WordPress as well. That's also something very important. FeedBurner by FeedSmith. That's also something, if you're using RSS, well, I think you should use RSS if you want to post somewhere else or if you want to give your RSS feed. It's very important. So that's something also. ClickKeys, I used to use it. Also, if you want to hide, I used Advanced Category Excluder to hide the Twitter post. Maybe you missed that part, but we have a bunch of posts that we use for SEO, but we don't use in the front end. So I use that one to hide it. Also, it's something that's very important to remember. So I'll show you from the Tanios. We did the same thing for Tanios. On Tanios, we added a bunch of posts. So what I did is I went into my Google Analytics, right? And I searched all the top search engine results, like keywords that were looked for, and that hit Tanios.com. But not only the top, all the 500 most looked for keywords that found our Tanios.com, which is our website. What I did is I created a single post for every keyword. I'll show you here into posts. Okay. So those are keywords like asking skinny, staying skinny Montreal, stock control, students, universities. Those are keywords that eventually led to Tanios.com. Not very often, but at least once or twice. That's why So what I did is I downloaded the CSV from Analytics, and I used that to import into WordPress, right? So I import them into a category called Tanios keywords, okay? And I hid that category on the front end. But all those like slash, so right now you have tanios.com slash stock level, tanios.com slash trade agreements. All these like keywords, they have a specific page with a specific title and some content on them, okay? So we updated the website according to what people are already looking for and finding us for it. And so that's the way we have more relevant content for these people.
How did you locate the keywords? How do you find niche keywords to?
Okay, so you're familiar with Google Analytics?
In general, I mean, if you want to have an edge online with your WordPress website and you want to find a keyword that is commonly searched in your geographical area, and you want people to, I mean, you want it to be associated with your website.
Okay.
How do you find like niche keywords?
I know it's keyword.
Is there like
Yep, there's a. See, Google has a very powerful tool. They call it the Google AdWords search, keyword search. I'll give you an example here. Okay. So if you have an account, it won't ask you to captcha every time. If you don't, like now I'm not logged into my AdWords, so it's not doing it. So let's say I want to look for Beirut, okay, very general. Or, okay, even better, I'll look for tanios.com. So they're going to read your website and see which keywords are powerful on your website and give you an idea of the market. Now here you have location, United States, English, and for devices, desktop. You can be very specific. You can add filters for your very specific location, or I can say mobile only, or you can then decide which filter to choose. Okay, so I'm going to let's say I'm going to use Lebanon, or no, let's go with United States, so that's why I have more results. Sinister. R? Yeah, something like that. Okay, I think it worked. It's loading. Okay. So yeah, very interesting. Vehicle shipping is a very high keyword that I could optimize my website for, or create Google AdWords for it. Okay. So this has a high competition, so the price is going to be very high for the bid. Whereas Lebanese hotels has medium competition and a lot of chances for me to optimize my website for it or create AdWords for it. So those are a bunch of those are not my keywords. Those were suggested by Google for my website. And you have global monthly search, so it gives you an idea, and local monthly searches. Yeah, then you have the competition. Eventually you can have the price, I'd say. Best internet. Oops. Show more like this, or exclude. Okay. So I can, I'll get more of that specific category. Sorry. And what's cool is you can go do a Google search and see what's coming up already. Maybe you're there already with your website. If they find you with those keywords, maybe you're there already. Or you can see the competition that's there. If you see some of your competitors, you can be there. What I recommend though, it's to have, okay, let's say you're selling hats, okay? And you want to sell hats to people in Beirut, and you see you have 4 websites selling hats in Beirut already. What you can do, and they're all selling it in English, what you can do is start by doing your SEO in French. That's way you have less competition on keywords. You're going to come up first, you're going to build your SEO reputation on French. So it's going to be easier for you to come up on the first page and first result, get some traffic, get some sales, and eventually move to the English part. Well, Arabic is also a very good point, but I'm not very familiar with Arabic myself, so I didn't do any SEO in Arabic. But you could. The Lebanese Google, so the google.com/lb, is in Arabic. I don't know if you use it, but it's you have the keyboard as well, and it writes on the other side, and you can write in Arabic if I use it. I don't. Unfortunately, I don't write the Arabic, so I'm not working on SEO for Arabic, but it would work the same way. And very few websites are fully Arabic in that sense. The reason why is that if you're very specific to that region, if you're online, it's because you want the world to see you. And if you're only in Arabic, well, you're limiting yourself. So your content should be in English, in French if you want, and Arabic for sure if you're in that region. But it's very hard to maintain. And if you're only in Arabic, well, your chances to come up, well, I think it's reduced. Since also the keyword search is more frequent in English. Yeah.
We have 15 more minutes, and we have 2 more questions.
Okay, sure.
Okay.
Hello. People likes nowadays the one-page website, which they navigate in it. Where we request Ajax, for example, to navigate bottom or top to etc., which is very difficult for us to develop to support SEO. So lately I read Google support hashes. Any more details about that?
Okay, it's a very good question. Okay, I'll show you a client. So every client. Thank you for your question. Every client at Tanios has, we could say, like the client.tanios.com website. So every client will get their website. That's where we're going to put all the updates eventually. And I'll show you just why I'm showing you this. It's because it's a one-page website that loads content that way, right? Okay. It's a one-pager, and like you just click. If I go to En Ligne Maintenant, that's the website we did for them, right? And also it's a very good one to show. Okay, so the one pager, what I'm just showing everybody what the question is referring to. It's this here, it's like the hashtag. It's a location, it's an anchor on the page that will go to that location. So that's a link to this on the same page, but that link is not on the sitemap, and Google doesn't see that link within. So it cannot be SEO'd as is. So here's a very good example. So that's in order to do a nice design for that company. It's a man clothes boutique in Montreal. So when you click here, that's a WordPress post that shows the featured image and the post content, which is also the image. And there's a very nice animation on the page. It's really I don't know if you like it, but it's very designed, right? But if you see everything happens on one page, so there is no SEO. We didn't change any page right now, right? The content has been loaded. So in order to improve SEO, what we did is that page already also exists in Portfolio with some keywords, okay? And you have the same content, but in a page. So the sitemap has it. So you create the front end, like navigation, design, something fancy that you want, with like Ajax, something opening, closing. But you should have an SEO back end for it, and make sure the content is not duplicated. So it takes the same content, and that some pages are no follow and others are follow, because otherwise the content will be duplicated. So that's the solution we found in order to have all these pages indexed in the sitemap and inside Google. So it takes the content from that post and it uses it in order to create a front end experience. Does that answer your question? Yeah. Yep. You had another question, or?
Question left, so if anyone else has a question.
My questions are all related to WordPress because that's what I work with,
okay.
So bear with me. For multilingual websites, some people or some developers recommend different or completely different installations for Arabic and English, whereas there are some plugins out there that give you the ability to have a multilingual website within a single installation. Which would you recommend, if you have a recommendation, of course?
Yeah. There's a plugin that I really like for multi-language websites. It's the Q Translate.
That's the one
That's the one you're referring to. I think it's the best one. It gives you really like in terms of managing the content, it's really powerful. Your team can do it. It doesn't have to be 2 installations. Also, 2 installation is kind of difficult because then you have 2 websites to maintain. Whereas this one, you change one title, you change the other one in the other language. Okay. But it requires more coding when you want to do like nice effects. I'll show you. Because, oops, no. Stop. Okay, it's a website we did for a Greek restaurant based on the same template. You'll recognize the template we used. In order to be able to have, see the links here, well, does the same thing, right? You can scroll to the top. They're all Ajax. But if we go into French, here, if we go into Français, like the Q-Translate code would not change that menu at the beginning. So we had to go inside the code and change, have another code that would read the Q-Translate and then change it again. But that required development. So it wasn't that easy to use for specific teams. For other teams, it's going to be super easy. If you have your own built team, well, you won't have any problem really, because you're going to think about the Q-Translate plugin. But the Q-Translate plugin is very powerful as long as you know how to develop a little bit in order to go some places and change some settings.
Thanks.
Welcome.
Thank you, Simon.
Thank you very much.